Well, trying to come up with a better loaf of bread. Because the gluten-free stuff you get now is not the most tasty stuff that you can get. Researchers and food companies around the world trying to develop bread without the side effects or with health-enhancing components. So that means what? Gene manipulation? Maybe. Leigh Richardson joins us, president of the Brain Performance Center. So what are they experimenting with here, Leigh, in order to try to make that kind of bread taste better?
Well, they're doing all kinds of crazy things. They're doing gene modification and gene editing. But, I say all that kind of crazy stuff, but if you stop and think about it, the wheat that we're eating today is not the same wheat that we were eating 60 years ago. The soil is very different, the pesticides that we use. So in our own way, we've been doing some modification to our food. And I think that what we've done to it has made it more inflammatory for our body. And what they're doing is they're looking at people with IBS and diabetes 2 and celiac disease that really do have a sensitivity to the gluten. And they're trying to come up with a solution.
Well, that's interesting because it seems to me that we have a lot more people that are suffering from food allergies now than we had 20, 30, 40 years ago. It seems like a fairly recent phenomenon. Do you think that these pesticides and soil changes have something to do with this?
I do. I think that, we used to rotate crops. We used to just take and I'm not a farmer, but the little bit I've researched, we used to take a more organic approach to growing our foods, and now we've gotten into more of a mass-produced. And I do think it's modified the food that we eat, the wheat that we eat. It's not the same. And I think that, now they're going to do gene modification and they're going to do gene editing, which really kind of intrigues me because they're not putting something foreign into the substance. They're just looking to see what they can take out.
We focus pretty much just on the bread, but really what they're talking about is trying to take whatever it is causing these allergens out of the wheat or the production of the wheat itself.
Well, it is the bread because the wheat goes into the bread. There's no doubt about that.
Well, I understand that, but wheat goes into a lot of other things too.
Oh,
so
you're absolutely right.
Because my whole point is, if you have an allergy to a certain thing, well, then you just don't eat it. You don't try to make something else up and call it bread or call it peanuts or call it something. You just, sorry, but
you just ignore it.
Yeah. Gluten-free bread doesn't taste like bread, so why call it bread? Like almond milk is not milk.
And to me, it's not as much the taste as it is the texture. It doesn't feel like bread. I can put jelly or peanut butter on it, and I can kind of cover the taste, but it's the texture that is so different.
Yeah. A lot of people are afraid of GMOs. Should they be afraid of genetically modified organisms? Frankenfood?
Well, I think everybody's body is different, and we all have different sensitivity levels. And I think that, some people can have a big sandwich for lunch.
Yeah.
They come back, and they're in a total brain fog. They're falling asleep at their desk. Okay.
Yeah.
That's something that they need to pay attention to.
Right. We're all processing it differently is what you're saying. We got to run. I'm sorry we didn't have more time, but thank you, Leigh. Leigh Richardson joining us, president of the Brain Performance Center.